Welcome back to the weekend show. Joining me now are Charlie Boy, Eba, and Madmo. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in today's program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you watched the first segment of the program with Chief Femi Fanikayode and Mr. Ikenga Ugochinere. You heard their opinions about the suspension of the CJN. Let me start with you, Father. What is your opinion about the suspension of the CJN by President Buhari?
It's very unfortunate. There's a thick, dark cloud, like hangman's news, hanging over us. These are very troubling times. And at times like this, I'm happy that my father is late, because this would have killed him. We have to fight this. We have no choice except to roll over and die. This has to be fought. And it's time that Nigeria and Nigerians wake up to the fact that there's this great evil, this treachery in our space now. So we're fighting on two fronts. One is the evil and the treachery. One is the impunity and the criminality that is going on in the system. And I feel very sorry for the Nigerian youths. But regardless, Osasu, I still believe in the exceptional few. I know I've been privileged to meet some outstanding Nigerian youths. I still believe that the salvation of this country lies in the hands of the exceptional few. Actually, I'm here. I escort them come this matter. I escort them because, like I said, my job as an area father is to connect the dots with exceptional people. I don't believe that we are all bad. I don't believe that we're all criminals. Something has to shift, because with what I see now, the clouds are very dark, and we have to fight for our future and the future of our children.
Eba, you've heard it. Fight for the future and the future of our children. You're a legal practitioner. You are non-partisan. You don't belong to any political party. Is there any constitutional backing to the president's decision or action to suspend the CJN?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me place a caveat that no one should go out there and quote me as saying that anybody is above the law. Now, the purported suspension of Honorable Justice Walter Samuel Kanu Onnoghen, GCON, as the CJN of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is null and void. One, the President Buhari himself is not above the Constitution. Read the preamble 2 of the 99 Constitution. The Constitution is supreme, and it has a binding force on all authorities and persons in Nigeria. Now, if Justice Onnoghen is alleged of certain infractions and is going to be tried, there must be a due process of the law to follow. Right. In President Buhari's speech yesterday, he said that he is worried in the manner with which these court orders, 3 court orders, were obtained, restraining the CCT from trying Justice Onnoghen. He is not worried in the manner with which the petition, the purported petition that is causing this trouble now, was filed between 9th and 10th of this month, slated for hearing on 14th of this same month, without recourse to the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that say If anyone is alleged of criminal infraction, is presumed innocent until otherwise is proved. And such person, such accused person, must be given adequate time and facilities to prepare his defense. We are talking about the person of CJN. Now, the power of the CCB is as contained in Schedule 3 of the 1999 Constitution, an attachment. The power of the CJN and the procedure to remove him from that office are as contained in Section 292 of the 1999 Constitution, which is in the body of the Constitution. Now, the procedural error committed by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation in his attempt to arraign the CJN is such an incurable one. So it's as good as saying that there is no competent pending charge against the CJN, which the CJN is facing. The Vice President came out to say that the President became aware of the issue on Saturday, which was supposed to be on 12th or so, on Saturday, about the incident. Arraignment was on Monday. The attempt to arraign the CJN was on Monday, the 14th. Now, he went further to say that the President made his position abundantly clear that he will not meddle with the affairs of any arms of government. Now, the difference between the CJN and you and I is because he's a peculiar person by virtue of his office when it comes to issue of prosecution, especially when there are certain allegations against him, especially the issues of misconduct. Right. Now, such allegation must be submitted to NJC. And the rules is there that since the CJN is the chairman of the NJC, the next most senior, which is the deputy, will preside. Right. Now, if NJC found Justice Onnoghen culpable, the NJC will now forward such report to the President for onward action. The President will now, if you look at it and say, this is a very trivial issue considering the status of the CJN, I will not embarrass this nation by dragging him to dock. So I will pardon him. He will just dump it somewhere. But if he will not pardon him, then he will now direct the Attorney General of the Federation to do the needful. Then the charge will be.
From what I'm hearing from you, there is no legal, backing for this action. Madmo, I want to bring you in here. What does this mean for our democracy? You are one of the...
No, I'm coming. I want to just finally say that.
Okay.
I want to just finally say that constitutionally, the purported suspension of Justice Onnoghen as the CJN is just a mere rumor. It is null, void, and has no place in our laws.
Madmo, what does this mean for our democracy?
See, sometimes I think the bulk of the Nigerian people do not understand this detail of legalities. It's interesting because, see, when you start watching a Nigerian movie, it's not like American movie. American movies, you could never tell, for most of them, how it's going to end. But you see Nigerian movie, from the beginning, I can write the part 2 of the movie. Where we are right now, see, it's only in Nigeria where you see this mug. I can prove to you that it's black. Only in Nigeria. Is Madmo sitting there? This is Area Father speaking. This is Nigeria. The denial, the delusion. we have gone from darkness to blackness. There is no, where is democracy? What we learn from school, the definition of democracy is clear. There is no such thing as democracy right now. This is, when you say tyranny, this is where we are at. The sad thing is that we're still playing games with this. We are being pushed into a place where Nigeria will just cave in and all of that, you know. One of the saddest statements I've ever heard in my life concerning Nigeria is the fact that Nigeria is a place where the worst never happens and the best never happens. We just sit in that, we are just in that limbo. It's good that Iba is speaking like this, but you know what? The power that the presidency has, you can say anything, he's done it. We will come out and shout and we'll go back to the same status quo. But I feel sad because at this point in my life, I should be determining what will happen in Nigeria. This is why we are in this mess. And yet my generation is still sleeping. We are still semantic nomenclature. We are still going, speaking grammar when what is happening is happening. Oh, the religious leaders are still going on. Things are still, we will still go back to the prayer mode. We that will protest will still come out and shout. I'm sitting here today. People are, the movie, the scripts have been written and they are carrying out, they are implementing the agenda. Clearly, everything is going on step by step. There is no mistake in this. This is exactly, in fact, the progress is quantumly being executed. But we are here talking about it. Nigerians are going about until this is the most dangerous moment in the timeline of our democracy and history. Because I tell you, a little tilt and we have no nation. Much more than the prophecies of the Jonathan's era. We are in a very critical, where we are right now. We can even be arrested sitting here. This is where we are. If this passes, I'm telling you, this is where we are getting into. We're just even talking, we can be pulled out of this place. But yet Nigerians do not understand what is happening.
We want to hear from you, everyday Nigerians. Call the number on the screen, coming up on your screen shortly. Call into the studio, share your thoughts and reactions on the suspension of the CJN. As I said earlier in the program, the National Bar Association has said that this is illegal. They still recognize Chief Justice Walter Onnoghen as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, despite the President's suspension of him. They believe this is unconstitutional and it's illegal. The Weekend Show has taken out time. We got no sleep last night to review the Constitution, and there is no section in the Constitution that gives the power to the President, the sole authority, to suspend the CJN. Earlier in the program, I asked about the suspension phrase used by some of his supporters on social media. And the argument apparently holds no water, as we've spoken to 2 lawyers so far on the program and many offline the program, and they still hold the same stance. So call into the program. The number again will be on your screen shortly, and share your thoughts with us about this issue. I'll go back to you, Area Father. I see your hand up. No, I want to ask questions. You want to ask questions?
No, don't ask me. Make okay. I ask you.
Me, okay.
You think, say, these people, we're there for power. Say, now, true. Now, democracy, they won't come do with us. I don't think so. People say, oh, look at the mediocrity. Look at how cheap they have brought down leadership. They buried leadership in the ground. They didn't come here to do democracy with us. I want everybody to understand this. They don't come to do democracy. They came to implement an agenda. And that's what they are doing. And it shouldn't be allowed to go any further, because this, enough is enough. Is either, like I said, we stand up, get our acts together, put ourselves together to do something about this, or we can roll over and let us keep dying one after the other. Because all what they've done, they've weaponized poverty, they've ruled with impunity and criminality. They do anyhow they like, because they did not come to do democracy with you people, with us. So these are very, very horrible times. And if nothing is done, then we'll have Rwanda here. It's coming.
When you say Nigerians need to act, what kind of actions would you advise we do?
We need to wake up. We need to start. If your mumu no do, then your mumu na follow come. You should go and die. You should just go and die because you are as useless as they come. We need to wake up. We need to start to, you know, sometimes I wonder what would it take for Nigerians to just say enough is enough. We all hit the street and show our anger in a very organized way. I'm not one for violence, and I can never be. But there has to be some kind of concerted effort that we're going to come together and do the needful. Because these people, where would they look, their heart, they there, they for back. They no send. Killing doesn't mean anything for them. And that's too sad. They have, human life is no longer sacred anymore. What is this? This is not a government. Nnamdi Kanu say we're in a zoo. We're not in a zoo. At least if I go to zoo, the animals there are fed well. We go to look animals, and you can't put a lion and a goat in one cage. This is the jungle where big animals eat up the smaller ones. People will get power. We feel saying at them. Kill the smaller ones just for the fun of it.
Father, we have a call. Please hold that thought. Your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello, morning.
Good morning. Please turn off your TV set. Your name and where are you calling from?
I hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
I hear me. My name is Igbinedion. Contribution. We want the program outside the contribution, but what I want to do is that it goes beyond talking. Few days I had a dream. Maybe CJN was set up and was killed. There is an agenda of
You know they hear what you talk, I bet. Another person call.
So we lost that call. We couldn't hear you. Please, when you're calling, turn down your TV, mute your volume, basically, so we can hear what you're saying. I'll go to you, Mr. Iba. We've talked about the legal implications of this. What do you think? Do you believe that the entire judicial arm of government is going to speak in one voice regarding these issues? Do you believe that there's going to be solidarity? Because we've seen what the statement the NBA issued. However, it's also, a fellow member of the judiciary that was sworn in, as the acting CJN. However, do you believe that the judiciary is going to act as one on this issue and take a stand against this unconstitutional decision?
Right. Thank you very much again. We have two pillars of judiciary, bar and bench. The NBA is the bar. The judiciary, yes, itself, that is the judges, is the bench. Now, we will definitely shut down. You see, for the democracy to survive, this struggle must continue. Right? We must get it right. We must resist this coup against the judiciary. It's very unfortunate, I must say. Like my brother earlier pointed out, that you may just say something here, somebody will just come and whisk you away because of a word of mouth. It is our right. If we won't take Nigeria now to US, before you get to US, you will see us waiting for Nigeria to arrive. God has his reason for bringing us here. We are not cowards. What we are saying is that the judiciary has been on trial since 2015. This present administration was inaugurated. Unlawful invasion of judges' residences, even where they came out and said, we are sorry, it was a wrong description. It was a wrong information. We are sorry. And these judges, by virtue of their position, could not come out to say, this thing has been done wrong to me, this, that. We are their mouth to speak for them. Right. Now, it is not a fight against Onnoghen as a person. It is not a fight against the judiciary only. It is a fight against Nigeria as a nation and its integrity. But I am not going to shy away from the fact that it is a fight against the potency of judiciary. Right? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is it not common sense to know the superiority of the Court of Appeal to Code of Conduct Tribunal, that is one special court that has just one road direction, that the Court of Appeal say Code of Conduct Tribunal stay action, and you came and said you received an order from Code of Conduct Tribunal? Which Code of Conduct Tribunal? But maybe let me help the presidency small. Let me help the presidency. The presidency, if the presidency want to be smart, should quickly ask the Attorney General to package himself, propose to the National Assembly to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau's Act for the affairs of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal to be directly under the office of the Attorney General. Let me help them if they want to survive in this coup. But if they cannot quickly ask the National Assembly to amend that, they will not survive, because this Nigeria belongs to us all. Now, for us to ensure that the integrity of this nation is restored, one, the NBA must not speak only. We must put all this we are speaking into action, very, very fast action, before it's too late. Two, the judiciary, if it is the executive that is going to interpret the law now, let the judiciary continue to do his own work. Just Onnoghen should go ahead and set up the panel. Let me borrow from my brother and speak in pidgin small, even though I don't understand speaking very well. Pidgin very well. But for the benefit of those that are watching from some villages, before they will go ahead and say no be Onnoghen be CJN again, no, na Justice Tanko Mohammed. May my Lord Justice Onnoghen go set up the panel that we sit on the election petitions that will come out of 2019 election, general elections. Anything that comes from Honorable Justice Mohammed Tanko in the capacity of an acting CJN, beginning from yesterday, the 25th of January 2019, null and void.
But doesn't this cause more of a constitutional or legal crisis for you, the Nigerian Bar Association, given the fact that you're now working with two CJNs? So what you're suggesting, isn't that contrary to the effective methods and mechanisms you're trying to put in place?
I am not even suggesting. I am stating categorically. I'm not suggesting. And we must work it out. There are not two CJNs in Nigeria. My Lord Justice Tanko himself, with due respect to my Lord Honorable Justice Tanko, himself knows that one, Justice Onnoghen has not retired. Two, the purported charge against him has not even been read to him. It has not, his plea has not been taken. Three, he knows that the president has no power whatsoever to remove, suspend, has been speculated all over the world today. So therefore, in the spirit of oneness, that is just one judiciary. Justice Tanko Mohammed must resist any threat from any quarter, from president or whosoever, that he must assume that office as an acting CJN, because he knows that his decision will not stand anywhere in law. Now, that is to say, if his decision, my brother said something, if you look at the numbers of Nigerians, even those that are not lawyers, that are talking over this particular issue, if you can't now, if 100 people are here talking about this issue, it's only one person that will say, yeah, president is right. Do you know why they will say president is right? The name, fight against corruption. But what is the procedure? Do you get? Who is the corrupt? Let me state it here. It is better to steal money, which is refundable, than to steal human's right.
Madmo, please share with us your
point of observation and correction.
Yes.
Make you know they call me brother. I no be your mate. No, I'm not your brother. You go call me uncle or call me area father. Don't call me brother again. Let me know be mate.
Area father. You do the worry.
Ask your question.
Madmo, your final words, please.
You know, maybe now that we're saying this, I actually had a dream, very crazy, you know, and in that dream there was a king, you know, and that king had other kings, and so that I don't speak in parables, so that Nigerians can understand, because like Joseph, when I dream, I can interpret the dream. But what I'm seeing very clearly, the dream is about Nigeria, and these people are testing the waters. I'm telling you, and I will say it because, you see, truth is true, regardless of who is saying it. And even if you die in the process, it does not change anything. You know, Nigerians are so afraid of dying, and that's why we keep dying every day, because we are afraid of what we don't know. I live here right now. I'm headed to the U.S. Embassy with some other young people. And we are going to be on the street because our mouth must. Area Father has been doing this for over 40 years. And I'm just 40 plus. You know, and I feel that like we have lost it already in my generation, because at best I'm fighting for my children right now. But in this dream, just to explain it, you know, this king at this particular time, which I see as Buhari, when he won the election, he removed his vice president and took a vice president from the central Nigeria, which is around that Kaduna region. But in the interpretation of this dream, I now saw why this other sub-king in that area took a Muslim ticket, because by the time he becomes the VP, there will not be a repetition of what happened with the last regime. And it's crazy. You know, we say it, we laugh. This is not, there's no laughing matter in this at all. I grew up, Kaduna is my birthplace, where we went into church and saw our pastors mutilated. This is how I grew up. I've worked in the Northeast and I've seen this thing. For the bulk of Nigerians who haven't seen this thing, it is history. It is story. But this is life. I mean, I was on ground zero in Agatu and I saw what happened. And I challenged the commissioner of police then. He said, where are the dead bodies? And we have pictures and we have documentations of all these things. Oh, in 2007, 2008, when we used to carry out mission stuff in Rwanda, we never thought, in fact, we used to come back and pride ourselves. But we lived in Nigeria where young girls and boys strap themselves and detonate themselves. Look at Nyanya, look at all the things that are happening. And they've said they are even coming back again. This is the Nigeria we know. These people have tested the waters. They are hitting, they are going against, we are right on the bridge, where a governor in a place that is about 50-50. How do you balance what has never happened before? You take a Muslim just to test the water. What President Buhari is doing is testing the water. And I'm challenging Nigerians. Nothing will happen. They will do it They perfect. Where is the one Nigeria we're talking about? I mean, federal character is the lowest, because when you remove meritocracy from any form of governance or anything, now federal character is even thrown out of the way. Court of appeal, from the court of appeal to Supreme Court. All the three are completely from one side of the country. Oh, you want to start from NIA, or you want to start from DSS and all of that, all one side of the country. And we're talking one Nigeria. So where we are right now is unbelievable that we're even sitting and talking about this. This is where we are.
But the picture you paint seems very gloomy. It seems that there is no hope for the country. Area Father, I want your last words on this issue.
Let me give two scenarios before Area Father speaks. The hope right now where we are is this. You see that the people will come out. I would expect that today, that from Lagos to Sokoto, from Maiduguri to Osun, everywhere, young people should come out on the street like we are going to be doing in Abuja. People power. Then the next one. Because again, I strongly believe and I know that there is a God that rules in the affairs of men. And President Buhari and all of you in government, you should be very careful. There is God.
Area Father, your last words, please.
I'm a baby of the early 50s. I remember when them born us, if we dey perambulate for road, our uncle or auntie go see, or somebody sees us, then go say, who is your father? That who is your father, they know they ask you like whether your papa get money or your people get money. What kind of background are you coming from? You see, most of the people in leadership positions today, they are all riffraffs, scumbags. Yeah? And I don't blame them, born through way. Okay? The early 50s, we value honesty, integrity was a watchword. I know growing up in city in Port Harcourt, it used to be called Pt2 in those days. It was about the love, the warmth. The people who were popular in those days were people of honesty, integrity, not criminals. We have allowed the worst of us to lead the best of us. We have allowed criminals. Look at my state like Imo State. All 419 people, everywhere you go. And these are people who want to lead. We're not all bad people, oh. We're very good people. I've been privileged to meet exceptional Nigerians. I keep saying that. And no matter how dark it is looking right now, I know dawn is coming, morning is coming, and this, I mean, we cannot sustain this kind of failure anymore. So something has to give, If it's still not yet rock bottom that we've hit, okay, we'll go to that rock bottom. From that rock bottom, we'll rise, because I still believe that the salvation of this country lies in the hands of its exceptional few and the exceptional youth. I'm not talking just about the youth in Ajegule or in Lagos. I'm talking about the youth who are doing Nigeria proud, who are in the diaspora also. Okay? So I believe that out of all of this mess, out of all of this rubbish, with all of this riffraffs and vagabonds in power, something will spring up. I may not be around to witness it, but it doesn't matter. I want to believe that the process has already started. As slow as it may be, as invisible as it may be, something has already started. So all I can tell the Nigerian youth, because those are the people I speak for, okay? The ones we know, on our way, on our mumu don't do, we should all come together, because we must salvage this country. And after all of this mess, I see a new beginning. So I cannot be discouraged, and I don't think anybody should either.
It's a fine place. Iba, your final words before we round up?
All right. Thank you. Third time. You see, I am not going to speak only as an apostle of law, but also as a Nigerian youth, that now that we have identified the subject matter as an unlawful act, then there is a preliminary objection challenging the jurisdiction of any court in Nigeria to sit, because there cannot be two CJNs. So therefore, if the members of the bench are not properly constituted, then the court will not have the jurisdiction to even sit on any matter. So we are saying that no court has the jurisdiction to even sit again. Now, so long that the tenure of Muhammadu Buhari has not elapsed as the president of Nigeria, we are going to resist this military coup in this democracy. I'm not done. Okay. Please, you have to give me 1 more minute or 2. Thank you. Now, it has already been established in Article 46 of United Nations Declaration of People's Rights that it shall be the right and duty of citizens of every country to have a say in the art of governance. Now, let me send this warning to whom it may concern, that when Nigerian youth are voicing out issues that borders on national integrity, either by way of protest or whichever way they would want to go about it legally, their right to such demonstration should not be infringed by any security agency. Should not be tampered with by any security agency. And also let me send a word of encouragement to the judiciary, that the judiciary should remain firm and steadfast.
Thank you.
God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Thank you so much, Iba, Charlie Boy, Madmo. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the weekend show. We'll have more thoughts and reactions from everyday Nigerians on our social media trend coming up after this short break. Don't go anywhere.